Hey guys! For those who don't know me, my name's Jasmine. I'm a qualified counsellor and all-round awesome person, and I'm going through the next big stage of my life, which is weight loss surgery! And as of now, I am exactly 8 months post-op, and I've had some complications in the past few weeks. You haven't already checked it out from the title above or below or wherever it is, the gallbladder attacked. But before I get into that story, let's have a quick look at those statistics. So for me, all was going well in the first few weeks of this past month. I was still eating very small amounts, I was going to the gym twice, maybe 3 times a week, I was skating around, but that all changed on the day that I decided to start training with a roller derby team. That afternoon I decided to try fried calamari. About 2-3 hours later I started feeling a bit of pain right here, right under where my bra finishes, and it started spanning across the front here. And I thought, oh, this is a bit uncomfortable. Maybe my bra's a bit too tight. Nope. It spanned further, it got more intense, and I started feeling like I couldn't breathe properly. I felt like I was in such immense pain that I thought, I'm going to miss the first training session with these guys. And I've been looking forward to going and starting to learn roller derby for weeks beforehand. So I decided, okay, I need to continue on with whatever's going on. It's probably a gallbladder attack, but let's continue going on because you never know, it might subside before training. So here I am driving to my mother's place to pick her up to go to this session, and just like that, it stops. Here I am wincing in pain as I am trying to drive as slowly and as carefully as I possibly can. And then all of a sudden it's like it never happened. It baffled me. So I got to my mother's, told her about what happened, where the pain was, how long it lasted, which was about an hour and a half, how it progressed, and she said, yeah, that was a gallbladder attack. Go to the doctor first thing tomorrow morning and get an ultrasound. And that's what I did. So a few days later I went to go and get my ultrasound, and while it took a little bit of force or pestering to get something from the, what would you call them? Sonographers? The people conducting the test. And they finally told me, yes, you have gallstones. Albeit, they are on the small side, you know, 2 millimeters, really tiny, tiny things. But yeah, they're there. They're just floating there. But yeah, that's the case. It's not really much to worry about. I left the clinic, called my surgeon straight away. Said, look, I've just had an ultrasound and it looks like I've got gallstones. Can I book in a time to see you to look at gallbladder removal before it gets worse? And the receptionist I was talking to turned around and said, yeah, that's cool. Problem is, the surgeon's in theatre for the next 2 weeks straight, and he's taken a week off after that, personal leave, so I can possibly slot you in for about 3 weeks time. Turned around and said, yeah, that should be fine. But then the receptionist said to me, in the meantime, avoid your fried foods or your greasy foods, your high fat foods, avoid that stuff, but also avoid your dairy, because those 2 things are they're the most likely culprits to spark up another gallbladder attack. It comes up to the weekend and I've got some errands to run, but I decide, okay, I've got to get myself something for breakfast. I decide to stop by a takeaway place, and I have some chicken and smashed avo on a bagel. I mean, really, I'm just eating the chicken and the avo because I still can't really tolerate the dense bread of a bagel yet. But then I also decide, okay, and I'm going to have a small mocha with skim milk.
3 hours later.
I'm in the middle of a store now, and the feeling in my chest, again, just below the bra line, right here, starts again. And this time the pain just grew intense a lot more quickly. And it grew more intense than the one I had had the previous weekend. Here I am, leaving the store, getting into the car. The moment I sit down in the driver's seat, I'm really feeling the pain. It's hard for me to really compare it to anything because I haven't had any pain like this before. But looking at some of the research and some of other people's experiences, it's comparable to childbirth or having kidney stones, if anyone's had those. I mean, I haven't had either. So I can only describe this as the most intense, most serious, jarring pain I've ever had. I went to my GP to try and get some pain medication, something stronger than Panadol or maybe Buscopan or something that can help ease this. But I described the pain to my GP as though, I've got this band of pain right here, but it's as if there's 3 swords stabbing me, 1, 2, and 3, going right through me and coming out the back here. So the doctor decided to lay me down just to feel around my abdomen to see if this pain is spanning any further, just in case any of those really tiny gallstones have moved down any connecting tracts to, like, the liver or the pancreas. Problem is, when I laid down, my pain, which on a scale of 1 to 10 would have been at about an 8 or a 9, grew to a 13 to 15 when I laid down. It was so much for me that I started crying. So the doctor helped me back up and said, look, we've got to get you to the hospital. Sent me a referral letter, and off I go to hospital. So I went to a public hospital. I ended up spending 25 hours in this public hospital, and all of that time concluded when the general surgeon told me that they would not be able to operate within the next week. By this point, I had been given by that same surgeon something for breakfast. I had been given like this cup of fruit in juice or something. I had been given some apple or orange juice. I had been given, this little thing of cereal. It seemed as if everything was setting it off. Forget about not having fried foods or dairy products. It was anything. I really grew scared. I found myself scared to eat anything. I was scared that the stones were getting to particularly my pancreas. So when the surgeon turned to me and said that they may not be able to operate on me for at least a week, I knew I'd have to go elsewhere. Because if I can't eat anything without having a gallbladder attack, how long is it going to be before one of those itty bitty gallstones gets to my liver or gets to my pancreas, causes problems there, and next thing you know, I'm dead. In hindsight, I know it's quite disaster-like or pessimistic of me to think to such extremes, but at that moment, when I was that scared for my life and in so much pain of eating little bits of fruit, at times you just can't help but think that. So the surgeon made a few calls and we found that there was a private hospital nearby that has a surgeon that is happy to operate on me the following day, and I can go to their emergency room until then. First off, I had no idea that private hospitals had emergency rooms, and in fact many around me don't. So to hear that there's a private hospital with an emergency section, I was like, what? But I did feel a small sense of relief hearing that there was a surgeon who knows about my situation and is willing to operate on me the next day. So after discussing this with the public hospital surgeon, my mum and I went straight to that private hospital. And I've got to laugh because the whole way I was very, very, very dehydrated. And I was lightheaded the whole way there. The whole car ride was a blur. I'm so glad I wasn't driving. So the next morning I see the surgeon. They take me through the whole gallbladder removal, what they're going to do. They tell me how they're going to take x-rays of the tracts to the liver and the pancreas especially, just to make sure that there's no stones there. Basically that whole surgery for me, where they're going to cut, how many cuts am I going to have, what's my recovery going to be like, things like that. And it sounds very similar to the bariatric surgery. That afternoon, I'm in theatre. The time that I remember going into the theatre was just after 5. My mum gets a call from the surgeon about 7 o'clock saying that procedure's all done, no complications, everything's good. About 8:30, I start coming out of the anaesthetic. And once again, knowing that I would need to be up and shuffling as early as I can, first thing I ask, can I get some help getting up so I can go to the restroom? So this is now the next Tuesday. I'm recovering well. I've responded well to pain medication. You know, I'm not in 10 out of 10 agonizing pain. Patch me back up with all these stickers. Put a picture over here, I think. There we go. Picture of all my stickers. And I end up leaving the hospital late Tuesday morning. And since that hospital visit and since that surgery, I've been pretty much sitting up in my couch or sitting up whilst sleeping in bed, just doing what I can to recover the same way I did from the gastric sleeve. But looking back on that story and seeing how all of this progressed in basically the span of a week shows me a few things. It shows, first off, how vital it is to know roughly what a gallbladder attack is like. If I didn't know band of pain right under the bra line was a sign of a gallbladder attack, or just pain across the abdomen was a sign of a gallbladder attack, I would have just dismissed it as my bra's too tight and just taken it off for the rest of the day. The other thing this showed me is how important it is to keep your private health insurance if you have it and if you can afford it. I am sure admission to that private hospital would have cost me thousands if I was able to be admitted at all. if I didn't have the private health insurance. Luckily, I just had to pay my excess. So that's been me for this last month. Quite dramatic and fast-paced, but my gallbladder's out. I am currently recovering, so we'll see what happens. If you liked this video or any of my previous videos, I just want to remind you guys again to please like, share, and subscribe if you can. If you have any questions in relation to gallbladder attacks or gallbladder removal, feel free to comment below with any questions, or heck, if you've had your gallbladder removed, feel free to share your story too, because I think it'll be cool to see the different stories and see how they're different yet somehow similar. But I'll leave you guys to do that. Thank you all for watching. You're all awesome, in case no one's told you today, and I'll see you next month with my next segment. Bye for now.